This was supposed to be a film by Mr. Watley. Mrs. Corley had too many gin and tonics. Mrs. Lewis said no, no one else would have a go. So now it's time for Mrs. Stevens' Phonics. This was supposed to be a film by Mr. Watley. Mrs. Corley had too many gin and tonics. Mrs. Lewis said no, no one else would have a go. So now it's time for Mrs. Stevens' Phonics.
Hello there everyone, and welcome to day 6 of Phonics with Mrs. Stevens. We are on page 15 today, and it looks like this, which means we are on tricky word and high frequency word practice. We're going to be doing some reading together, and we're going to be doing some writing and spelling together. I've also got a bonus sentence for us to have a look at today. So make sure that you are all ready. Quick loosen up, quick limber up, stretch. And let's get those brains ready by reminding ourselves of all the sounds we have been learning. So, great big loud voices. Make sure I can actually hear you from wherever you are. Join in with me. A. Oi. Or. Oo or you. E. E. E, A, ow, O, U or oo, O, I. Well done everybody. So now our brains are ready and warmed up. Let's have a think about today's lesson. Well, so far I have got 4 words written on my board here behind me. Let's see if there are any of those that we actually know and recognise, shall we? So let's have a little look. Okay, first one here. Let's have a look. Is it a word that you recognise, I wonder? Remember, these are train your brain words, so the words that we want to just see and be able to recognise them straight away. So here we go. Here's the first one. Ooh, what do you think it says? Let me hear you. It says water. This word says water. So I say water, you say, well done, water. It's a bit interesting, isn't it? Because when I look at it, I can see water, but it's water. So the or sound is actually being made by that letter A, isn't it? The letter A is making an or sound all on its own. So it's a tricky word. The letter A is not making the sound we would expect it to make. So we just have to train our brain to remember that. Water. So we've got the wa. The letter A is making that or sound that we can hear, and then the t and the at the end. So the tricky sound in that word is really that letter A making that or sound. Water. So the letter A is being really tricky there, isn't it? Okay, so this one is good. Water. Do you remember? Now, let's have a look at this one here. This one we've seen quite a bit, so I think you will know that one. So shout out now after 3. What is it? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's it. Where. And not too bad, because we've got the W and the H, which we know can make a w sound sometimes. And then we've got that air sound. Also, of course, it can be a bit tricky because that spelling sometimes says ear too, doesn't it? As in the word here. So it can be a bit tricky because in this word, the ERE is actually making an air sound. So a little bit tricky. What, air, where. So this is why we have to train our brain to remember that as a whole, because there is a tricky element to this word, and it's those last 3 letters not making the sound we would expect them to make. So there's the tricky bit there. This one, okay, I should think you all know that one. So after 3, you can all call out. This word says 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it says who. We know that one. Got the W and the H making that sound, and that's okay. That follows the rules that we've been looking at. The tricky bit is this last one on its own, isn't it? Because the letter O is making that ooh sound that we can hear. But normally we would expect to see 2 letter O's to make that oo sound. We've just got 1 on its own. So we have to train our brain that that's the tricky bit of the word. And so it says who as a whole. That's the tricky part. And then this last one, have a good look at it. I say again, you say. I say again, you say. Yeah, it says again. And actually it's a common word, so we need to just be able to recognise it. But it does follow the rules as well, look. A, g, a, n, again. So that one does follow the rules. But nonetheless, because we see that quite a lot in books and we might need to write it quite a lot, it's useful just to be able to know it straight away without having to sound it out at all. So let's just do a quick run through again with just saying the words. I'll point and then we'll say them together. This one, water. This one, where. So you can go first. This one, who. And then this one, again. Well done. So let's have a go then at writing these ones. So we'll do these first 4 together. So you'll need your pencils. I've got my pen. So let's look at it really carefully, because then once we've written them down in your workbook, you can come back to them later today and practice remembering what they say and reading them. So water. So we had to remember that the letter A is the tricky part. It's making that or sound even though it's just a letter A on its own. So water. So for the W, we need the letter W. For that W, ought, the W, or, we have to remember it's the letter A making that or sound there. So we need the letter A. W, ought, that's easy enough. We need the letter T. And then the is an end spelling. So we know it's the E and the R at the end. Water. So the A is the tricky part. So let's just go over that. There we go. Water. Now let's look at this one now. Where. Let's look really carefully at the sound. We've got the W with the WH spelling, and then the air sound at the end is a bit tricky with the ERE spelling. Where. So this time let's cover it up and let's see if together we can write it in your book. So have a go now. I've covered it. Write it in your workbook. I'm going to give you a few moments before I write it. Can you remember how we spell the word where? Try in your workbook on your own. Where. Have you done it? Okay, so we're going to try. Remember, we've got the first part is a W. We needed to train our brain to remember the W was the WH together, and then the air part was an unusual spelling. It's the ERE. So now let's check. WHERE. Where. Did you get it right? I wonder. Okay, let's look over at this one now. Who. I say who, you say. Brilliant. Only got 3 letters this time. The H sound is the W and the H together. The OO sound is a bit tricky. It's only a letter O on its own. So we've just got to remember that. So now I'm going to cover it up. Your turn in your books to see if you can write it on your own. Go. Have you done it? So who we need. H is the W, H, and then I have to remember that it's a bit tricky and the OO sound is the letter O on its own. So then we uncover it and we check. W, H, O spells who. Did you get it right? I wonder. Last of all, now this one wasn't so tricky, was it? Because it actually sounds the way that it looks, or looks the way that it sounds, whichever. So let's have a look at it again. Again. Have a good look at it. Again. Again. Have a good look. Let's cover it up. I'd like you to try and write the word again on your own in your workbook. Remember, you can always pause me if you need more time. Have you done it? Again. Okay, so again. G. A with the AI spelling. And then N at the end. Again. Let's have a check. A. G. A. I. N. Spells again. So we have got water, where, who, and again. Very good, everybody. So I wonder how you did. We've got a few more words to try now. Okay, so while I'm giving my board a quick clean, have a look back at your list of words that you have just written in your workbook and check that you can still read them all by yourself while I write some more words up. As I write them, you can have a sneaky peek and see if you know what they say. Here we go. Okay, I wonder, as I was writing those, whether you've got any idea what they say. I wonder what ones you recognise. First of all, though, I'm going to tell you just in case. And if you do know them, you can just say them with me, okay? So this one first. Oh, very tricky. This word says thought. Thought. Have a good look at it. So I say thought, you say thought. We'll come back to that in a minute. This one here, did you recognise it? It looks a bit similar, but this word says through, going through something. Through. I say through, you say well done. And then this word over here says work. Work. I say work, you say brilliant. And then this one, last of all, mouse. I think most of you would have recognised that, mouse. So I say mouse, you say good job, everyone. So let's come back over here then at the word thought. Lots of tricky bits in that. Let's have a good look at the letters. We've got the sound, haven't we? And then we've got the or sound. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 letters making that or sound. We've got O, U, G, H, making the or sound. My goodness, 4 letters, 1 sound. No wonder it's a tricky word. Or t at the end. So lots of tricky parts there. The trickiest bit being this or sound in the middle. We have got the letter O, U, G, H together making that or sound, which is why it's so super tricky. Thought, very tricky one, isn't it? T-H-O-U-G-H-T, thought. Okay, now we've had a good look at it. I'm going to cover it up. I dare you to have a try at writing the word thought all on your own. Remember, you can pause me if you need more time. I'll give you a few seconds. No peeking. I can just see it below my arm. Have you had a go? Thought. So, first sound. I know I need the T and the H for that bit. And then or. Now I've got to remember it's 4 letters, 1 sound for that middle or sound. It's the letter O, the letter U, the letter G, and then the letter H. Or, and then at the end, t, I need the letter T. Shall we have a check? T, H, O, U, G, H, T. Thought. Goodness, that was tricky. Give me a thumbs up if you got that one right when you wrote it on your own. Well done. That's amazing if you got that right. Good job, everyone. Right, let's have a look at this one. This one was, remind me, yes, it said through, through. So let's have a look at it closely, through, so I can hear the in the beginning. And I've got the letters TH, then I can hear a there's the and then I've got the ooh. Now this is a bit tricky. This time I've got the same 4 letters as we had here, and they are, instead of making an or sound, they're making an ooh sound. My goodness, no wonder this is a tricky word. We've got the O-U-G-H. They're not making or as they did in thought. They're making an ooh sound in this word. Very, very tricky, isn't it? T-H-R-O-U-G-H, through. I'm going to hide it. So now is your turn to have a try in your book to see if you can manage to write that all by yourself. No peeking. Through. Remember, you can pause me. I wonder if you've got it right. My turn now. Through is the TH. Ooh, oh, I've got to remember, isn't it? 4 letters, 1 sound. Ooh, O, U, G, H, through. Let's check. T, H, R, O, U, G, H, through. I wonder if you got that right. If you did, big thumbs up, because that is a really tricky one, isn't it? Through. Thank goodness this word is a little bit shorter, but it's still tricky. Let's have a look at it. This word says, yes, it says work. Work. Let's have a look at it. Work. That's okay. Oh, I can see or, but I can hear So it's a bit tricky in the middle there, isn't it? The sound is being made by the O and the R together, which normally says or, worn and torn. But in this word it says at the end. So that's okay, isn't it? Most of it is what we would expect. The middle bit is the tricky part where the O and the R is making that sound work. So here I go, I'm going to hide it. Have a go at writing it on your own. Good job. And now my turn. Work, were, but the O and the R are making the sound, and then k at the end is the letter K. Work. Let's check. W, O, R, K. Work. Fantastic, everybody. Last one. Let's go. Mouse. This one says, yes, it says mouse. So let's have a look at it. Ow. Well, that's okay. And mouse in the house. Mouse. So that one we can sound out, but of course we don't want to have to do that. We want to save time and just remember the letters. So let's do this one together. Mouse. We need the M for the sound. Are you writing with me? And for the ow sound, we need the O and the U. And then the S at the end is the letter S and the letter E together. Mouse. Well done. So you should have written 8 words in your book now. We did 4 together beforehand and then another 4 there. Just remind us again, thought, through, work and mouse. Great job. One very last thing to do before we finish today. Let me turn my board round. Here we go. Here is our sentence. Let's have a go together. Who thought they saw the mouse swimming through the water again? Oh my goodness. Who thought they saw the mouse swimming through the water again? Let's see if we can spot our tricky words. We've got our who thought they saw the mouse swimming through the water again. Lots of our tricky words in that sentence, wasn't it? So, good job everyone. Great work on reading and writing those tricky words. Remember to go back to them later and checking that you still can remember them later on. Good job everyone. See you tomorrow for lesson 7 or day 7 of your workbooks. Take care.
This was supposed to be a film by Mrs. Corley. Mr. Watley couldn't work the electronics. Mrs. Lewis said no one else would have a go. So now it's time for Mrs. Stevens Phonics. This was supposed to be a film by Mrs. Corley. Mr. Watley couldn't work the electronics. Mrs. Lewis said no, no one else would have a go. So now it's time for Mrs. Stevens' Phonics.